My name is Grace Boardman. I've been working here for about a year. I'm the outdoor education specialist and naturalist here at Mountain Lake Lodge. The lake was formed about 6,000 years ago after an earthquake caused a rock slide that dammed up the valley, and the lake then filled in behind it. The lake was completely full back in 2003, but the last time it was mostly full was 2008. It was about 90% full, and that's right before it completely drained. So before the lake drained in 2008, people did not know that the lake was cyclic and went through these cycles every year because there is no written record of the lake draining and coming back, or at least official record that they were able to tell. So there's no way to actually prevent it, and there's no way for us to really completely prevent it in the future without taking out the natural dam and putting in an artificial dam. They did, though, once the lake did drain and they found the source of the drainage, they tried to reclog those holes to speed up the refilling process. They did decide to take part of the sediment off the side of the lake to refill those holes so that the lake would fill up faster than it did in the past. But it was successful for the first 2 months, and another hole actually opened up and caused the lake to drain out again. The draining of the lake doesn't affect the wildlife too much. There's a little more food sources for certain mammals and birds because there is now a big grassland meadow. It does affect the fish the most, though, because there's no streams that feed into the lake that are large enough to support fish. But the fish are able to go down into caverns underneath the lake as it drains. Then once the water refills, the fish are able to then also come back up into the lake. The draining of the lake did affect the lodge economically. We used to have boating and fishing and swimming. It also happened around the same time as the recession in 2008. So it's very unfortunate that those things overlapped. But as a result of it, we've been able to add a lot more activities. We've been able to concentrate on our 22 miles of hiking trails. Mountain Lake is in a very unique climate. We're considered a microclimate here because we're at over 4,000 feet in elevation, whereas the surrounding area is around 2,000 feet in elevation. The bowl-like topography of Mountain Lake causes moisture to be captured right here. So we get higher average rainfall and lower average temperatures, which means more snow. The snow is very helpful actually to filling Mountain Lake, because as the snow accumulates up here, it will melt slowly, and as it melts slowly, it recharges the groundwater. And the groundwater is really what is refilling the lake. It's not necessarily the rain. The lake actually can drain about 600 to 800 gallons of water a minute. But when you have these small springs filling the lake that come from the snowfall, it's more substantial rise in the water level than just precipitation. So in 2008, after the lake drained, there were people hiking in the bottom of the lake, and they found a class ring that said 04 on it. Then they found a belt buckle and some shoes, a wallet, and some bones. They immediately freaked out, thinking that the class ring was 2004, not from 1904. Called the police. Police rushed up and started a dig to uncover the body. After a few months of research, they were able to discover that the body was of Samuel Ira Feldler, and he was here in 1922 with his wife. They were visiting friends from Salem, Virginia, and they were out past boating hours when he decided to stand up and he fell over. As he fell over, he took a big gasp of air because the water was so cold and inhaled a lot of water, causing him to sink immediately. And so they just were never able to recover his body because of the sediment, how murky the lake was. His wife, actually, they were wealthy enough for her to pay for scuba divers to come for many summers afterwards to try to find his body. So I think one thing is really teaching people that the lake being dry is not a huge negative. Obviously, swimming and boating is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of interesting history that can be uncovered while the lake is low. And it's a very unique process that we only get to see every 200 years.